Arganissima, New York. Your exotic skin, hair, and beauty source, and your one-stop shop for all your natural and organic skin and hair care, featuring authentic organic Moroccan oil and prickly pear seed oil and much more. Bringing you only the best, straight from the source and proudly produced in the USA. So what are you waiting for? Shop today at www.arganissima.com. Arganissima, New York. Your beauty is our duty.
Folks, welcome back to the iHealth channel, the Fit and Fab channel with iHealth Radio with your host, Hurricane H. New day, new show, new topic. And, this is going to be in the fitness world, but we're really taking this, in a whole different angle. I've had a lot of guests and we've talked a lot of different fitness models and things, but we hardly talk about some of the roots of fitness, models out there. And with me today, I have Helena Smolock, and she is one of the very few founders yours. I don't want to age her, and I don't want to talk about that.
No, that's okay.
But we're going to talk about her venture, her brand, Velocity Athletic Training, and it is really over 3 decades in the making, almost 4 decades in the making, where gyms and fitness companies were very few and far in between that started in Canada. I think that's the story. So again, and we're going to talk about a lot of things, as you can see on the banner. There's a lot of motivational stuff there that we're going to cover as well. So without any further ado, Helena, welcome to the show, and I'm really pleased to have you on.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. And we touch many lives when we talk about health and wellness, especially today in today's new world.
That definitely, we're going to dive into that whole thing, because that experience itself, it changed the world. I mean, but before we go into all that, I want to hear about your story. I mean, I know a little bit about it as we had a little brief discussion, but really there's more to this. I mean, you started a brand in an era where it was very limited, the industry was very small. I mean, everything then talked about like big fitness and bulky and all this stuff. And you came up, with a whole different concept. And so let's talk about that. What prompted you to start? I know you started so young about it,
I have.
And by the way, you're still young. But
it's okay. When I tell people my age, they don't believe me. They're like,
we usually don't ask, but
no, that's okay. You know what? I think we come to a point in life that we're just comfortable. I have met some outstanding individuals. First of all, I was born and raised in Ottawa, which is in Canada. Some people will say, where is that? That's Ottawa,
the
Canada. It is the nation's capital of Canada. So it's a government town. And believe this or not, I did want to be a criminal lawyer. That was the goal. That's all I talked about.
Interesting.
To family. And I was one of these students. I was always, reading. I was preparing my mind to pass all my exams to get into Osgoode Hall in Toronto. Right, that's one of the best schools, law schools in Canada, actually. So, and I studied the criminal code. I just was preparing myself, but while in high school, I was very athletic. I played a lot of sports. My favorite was the track, the 100-meter dash. Luckily, my genetics allowed me to perform that way. And so, I'm a mesomorph. When I say genetics, I'm a mesomorph. So we're built for power, speed, muscle definition. That's not an issue with us, right? Us mesomorphs. But so during high school, back then in the day, we had grade 13 in Ontario. And I'm not sure if it's still existing or not, but that's like your pre-university year. And I didn't want to spend that extra whole day in school. So I got placed in the courthouse in Ottawa, criminal division, which allowed me to navigate, find out how our system works, what criminal law is all about. That was great. And I think during that process, the people that I worked with kind of picked up, she's too sensitive to be a criminal lawyer.
Okay.
Because they put me, and this is why I say that, they placed me in a court case, which was a murder case. Now, for the average individual that doesn't deal with such issues like, police officers that go to crime scenes, they see all this stuff, right? So they were pulling out the crime scene in front of me in the courtroom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can be a criminal lawyer, because you see the other side of the human race. And so on my last day, I'll never forget the way my supervisor spun around in his chair, looked at me. So, do you still want to be a criminal lawyer? And I said no. So from that point forward, we talk about dreams. We always focus on dreams, goals. And when you don't achieve them, it sort of does something to you. And I know at that time I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? I put all that energy, all my thoughts into that one career. And I was shocked to realize it's not for me. And then, I thought, what am I going to do now? And there it was. I was teaching aerobic classes part-time after school at Catherine's Lady Fitness. It was just at that curve of that boom, high impact classes, low impact classes. Yes, I was putting back then, it was dubbed weight training programs. Now it's personal training. The whole industry had blown up in Canada and in the US.
Actually worldwide, but definitely Canada and the US.
Worldwide,
pioneers,
yes.
Yeah.
But because I was, I'm in Canada, I'm more familiar. But
sure.
Yeah, so it grew. It was a huge outburst of people, right? We were so active. I mean, my gosh, I taught 15 classes a week. That included aqua fitness every night. So was I in tip-top shape? Oh yeah. Did I run fast? Oh yes. So from that point on, the whole career, my whole career just grew, and I didn't really do much. I mean, I had media come to me. I was featured on television. I mean, those were the earlier days when we were just gauging the whole industry, discovering it. And back then, your only certification required was from the Y.
Wow. Yeah. I
Right?
mean, I think people watching and listening don't know what the hell is all that.
Totally.
Today you got to go through a whole certification and you can't even get a job as a chef.
You've got certifications everywhere, like various
well, that's an industry in its own. So yeah.
Oh yeah. The whole thing is on its own. But excuse me. The classes started to change too, like all the various certifications, step, spin, like it just continued on and on. And then you had the element of nutrition come in. And that whole industry is now $1 billion industry. Nutrition, supplementations, it is huge. Now I'm Canadian, and I know I keep saying this, but our market is not as big as the United States. So when I moved here in 2019 to be with my husband, 2019 was exciting. And then 2020 hit, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Right? I got my work permit in 2020 and realized, wow, everything's shut down. It was eerie. It was really eerie. It was like everybody's lives was on hold, and I thought, what am I going to do, and how am I going to do this? So I thought, you know what? Register Velocity Athletic Training here, get it going. How am I going to get it going? I've got my equipment. I had a beautiful studio in Langley, British Columbia, packed it all up, moved here. It's sitting right here behind me, collecting dust.
Well, you got to make use of it. Don't worry.
No, I know. I'm just, in my mind thinking, okay, I'm still sitting here with my equipment. Anyway, excuse me. So what I thought of, my business plan for Velocity Athletic Training did not include a whole lot of social media, and I'll tell you why. My studio was very private. I had high-end clients. British Columbia is one of those provinces, people want to look good, they want to feel good. They're corporate clients. There's a lot of image there. And so I had that clientele coming to me. They experienced private sessions. There was no lineups for a machine, no parking issues. So I really tapped into a niche that wanted just a private setting. They didn't want the big gym atmosphere.
Boutique.
And so with that, it was lucrative. And the twist on my studio was, yeah, I train you, and you and I know that the first 3 months is the adaptation phase, right? So during that 3 months, I am watching my client evolve in strength, flexibility, cardiovascular, their lungs, or their lung capacity is improving. And then as they're evolving physiologically, I let them know that at some point, all this training is going to be amped up. And so they would say to me, well, what do you mean amped up? I'm like, well, it's going to evolve into something more, intense. So I'm letting you know mentally, emotionally to be prepared, and physically to be prepared for that workload that's going to switch, because I'm watching them evolve to that point. So when the time comes and they're ready, and I know they're ready, I start to throw in athletic drills. And then they're like looking at, what are you doing to me?
Well,
and having that fitness and the athletic attachment to that workload, boy, their bodies are changing rather quickly. So what I've done is I've taken what I've practiced, what I've taught, right, in fitness classes, right, plyometric moves, power moves, jumping jacks, push-ups, all that, and I've added an element of athleticism to it. Does it work? Absolutely. I've never had clients drop out. My clients stay with me. I keep them motivated. And this is the key in this type of business, is that you hear a lot about high dropout rate.
Yeah, it's big.
It's huge.
Especially after the first quarter of the year.
Yeah. So when I moved from BC to Washington State, my reality is no client base here in the US. My reality is, how do I build this business? And I just plugged away with doing interviewing people on my on Velocity Athletic Training Radio, get that name out there. I just dealt with the trademarking office this week.
Oh,
fine tuning.
That takes some time. Yep.
Yeah. So, they're kind of picky about certain things. So you have to, communicate with them and let them know, well, this is why and this and that. So that's back into the process. And just doing what everybody else has been doing, plugging away. And it's heartbreaking to know that some gyms have shut down.
Well, yeah. I mean, so Helena, it's a lot of stuff you covered. I think we went literally like in a very nice.
I went from the beginning to now.
To now, but there's a lot in between, and we're gonna uncover those. But first, first of all, congratulations, because you're still living your dream. You're still working the stuff you love, and yes, I mean, you almost restarted in a new country in post-pandemic, where fitness and gyms were probably one of the industries that were affected, more than
Absolutely.
others, because they're the first ones to shut down, probably the last ones to open or reopen. And with the introduction of virtual and everything, things have changed a little bit. But we're going to talk about that briefly in a minute. But I want to go back to the start point, because you started an era and a time where, first of all, don't mind me saying this, you were a pioneer. You were one of the few ladies that actually ventured into almost a male dominant, industry. And then more than ever, that was the case. Today, it's, I mean, we've had a lot of brands that were more like women, specific, women driven.
Right.
But really, that was kind of like the concept in 70s, 80s. That's what you got. I mean,
yes,
it was just big gyms. You want to look like Arnold. You want to look, you want to be commando, and that's it. Or you're doing some real, like, fitness modeling, concept. And that was it. And then the aerobics, era started. And even that was really driven not by women. And you've seen models that do it in the videos and stuff, but really the companies went. But you went in head first. I wanted, that lawyer of you was still there. That powerful.
It's
it was still there.
It's funny because I still have some remnants of that. When you're in that industry or amongst lawyers and cops and judges, there's a different mindset. There's a different way of analyzing things. And interestingly enough, I still have that. Like I always, first thing is first. I look at, okay, legally, and is it done right? I still think that way, but I apply it to my business.
Well,
it's very...
you just talked about the trademarks.
yeah. Like my friends are saying to me, well, don't you think you should get a lawyer? I'm like, I laugh at them. And I say, a lawyer? What do I need a lawyer for? I can do this all by myself. I understand what's happening. I'm not scared.
Not everybody can speak to that, though, but you're unique in that aspect, because that was your thing. But really, you went into a very competitive piece, and you had to make it through. And I mean, the name is the same, right? It was the same all along. So Velocity Athletic Training, or has it changed?
Velocity actually was registered in British Columbia and in Ottawa. Ottawa, it was 2001. Same time, 2001. Between the time I started and 2001, I basically managed gyms. I had my Body Moves for Women in Ottawa. I was co-partner with Dominic, which was a long-standing studio. The owner prior to us was a woman, and we changed the name. It was around that time, the era, it was still strong, the women's gyms was really strong still. So we named that one Body Moves for Women.
Nice.
And it was a very cozy studio, but it still had what that the industry back then was requesting, the classes, the weight room and all that. Yeah. And so from there, I just would get contracts with government and like the Bank of Canada, and, they have a big gym, you know, um, corporate clients. I zeroed in on the corporate aspect of it, because when you think about it, where people are at work most of their day.
Very
right?
true. Yeah, very true.
And so I figured out a way to get into those corporations by setting up gyms in their building, and just navigating it that way. I managed a gym in British Columbia at the Pacific Inn. What was the Pacific Inn? It is now sold. For 8 years, I managed that. That's a different industry on itself as well. We sold memberships to the locals around the area, but at the same time, made sure that the hotel guests had access to the facility as well. So I found ways to survive in the industry without high overhead.
That's big in this particular industry, because
Oh my
the
gosh.
overhead is killing. I mean, the rent,
Oh,
the
yeah.
space, the equipment,
Yeah.
that, and then staffing, if you have staffing, and just the maintenance. I mean, you have showers, you have this, you have that. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it costs a lot to manage. And you guys in Canada, it gets a little colder than most, so your bills are higher. I'm sorry.
I think
we're in New York. It's still cold, but I mean, but yeah, it's not as cold as up there.
no, Ottawa is cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the formula. I mean, I consider myself lucky because I figured it out. I figured it out that, and that comes from being a co-owner of Body Moves. I've also had a studio on Gabriola Island. Now, Gabriola Island is a small island. It's on the in British Columbia. Population is 2,000.
So very small.
In the winter, but then escalates to 7,000 in the summer. I am telling you, I made more money on that island than I did anywhere else.
Wow.
Because people supported each other. The big city mentality did not exist. The Islanders would say this, you've come here for a reason, we help each other. We're not city people anymore. So it was not difficult for me to make 4,000 for a 3-month program.
Oh, that's big.
Oh,
numbers for 3 months, pretty big. Huh?
When I take in a client, they're getting everything. They're getting the nutrition. They're getting a high-end training. I've taken three years of kinesiology as well at Simon Fraser, and I do have my diploma in applied nutrition. So those factors play a huge role. I know it's not 4 years of university. I don't have my BA in kinesiology. I'm not a mathematical person. Last year of kinesiology, my brain, I was like, oh my gosh, my brain, I can't do this. So I thought I got to do something else to complement this. And I took nutrition. So, and it goes hand in hand. And I was going with the times anyway.
Well, Helena, I love what you've done there. I mean, first of all, you started in the industry. You've managed your way around it. You've co-owned. You've managed also to keep business, wise financials and expenses correctly. You made enough money, and then eventually you ventured into having create your own brand, which is Velocity.
Velocity is my baby. Out of everything I've done.
And the cheetah is your thing.
This logo.
I love that.
Thank you. The logo was designed by a very good friend of mine. She's a graphic artist. And I think what really changed for me when I decided to go, I created Velocity while I was managing at the Pacific Inn. I had a great setup there. I managed the gym. The owner of the hotel was phenomenal. He was great to work for. He gave me the opportunity. He says, okay, if I don't want to give you a raise, how else can I, help you? I said, okay, you know what? If you want to play this game with me, how about allowing me? And it was a win-win. The one thing in business for me is that when we create business together, it has to be win-win, right? I want you to win and I want to win as well. So what happened was I said to him, all right, I'm starting a personal training company. It's going to be full-fledged me, no investors, no partner, just myself. If you allow me to run it through the gym, because at the time I was a single parent, I didn't want to put out that money for equipment. He says, no problem. That means I don't have to give you a raise, right? That was his main concern.
Wow, that's a good trade.
No raise, but I still had to make it fair for him, right? I said, okay, you're allowing me to use the equipment. I have my own clients. This is what I will do is that when they purchase a package for me, I purchase a membership for them. So I get a client, he gets a member, everybody's happy.
Love it. Well, again, that's really, smart business. I mean, you're finding ways, you're finding allies, you're finding partners with minimum impact to you, and it's all plus for everyone. And so why not? Yeah. That's creative, right? And I think we're talking about fitness and talking about a fitness brand and this model of yours, but also we're talking business here. I mean, I think for our audiences, for anybody that is wanting to launch a business, I always try to plug in these things because in terms of motivation, I mean, we have that today, and we're going to talk about all those things that are on that banner on top. I love them. But really, the concept of business. I mean, you were always into it and adapting with the times, because you mentioned all the different things that happened over the last couple of decades. And all the and you probably were even early on more than people today. Because I mean, when you add athletics in there, you're talking about something that boot camp is almost done, today. I mean, you add in all these extra intense training that maybe was not part of the standard gym business, right?
No, exactly.
I mean, I used to, like, when I started as a kid in the gym, but I was martial arts, and that's different training. It's very intense, but in the States, and I was going on to the gyms from the 92 on, you go to gyms, I mean, they have aerobic classes, the machines and stuff. But the classes were pretty much limited to the aerobics, and then you had the bikes if you want. Even I think what do you call it? The spin classes were not even there at the time. You had just have classes, but it was not the same concept. And so it just shifts over the time. I mean, it just
the
Taibo revolution.
Yeah, totally. And in Ottawa, I mean, my uncle was actually a pro bodybuilder back in the day, way when he was in his early 20s. And back then he was drinking egg whites in front of us, raw egg whites.
Wow, big one.
Okay. And
gobble.
10 of them. And he would just guzzle them back, and he'd be like, ooh, Uncle Larry, that's gross. And interestingly enough, that's changed, right? If you say raw egg whites to a bodybuilder now, they would shy away from that because of
cholesterol and this
that. Yeah. But that everything's changed. And I know with Ottawa, people were just the motivation, the mindset was so different. I had people between the ages of 18 past 45. They were doing jumping jacks. They didn't complain about being sore or anything like that. Now, yeah. And I know it's an aging population, but I don't care. I'm going to say I'm 58.
God bless.
And I will do jumping jacks. Yesterday, I did, because I'm training for competition. I have decided, I've registered 6 kilometers. It's the first step to many more competitions. So I know what to do with my body. And I went through a little slump after losing my dad. God bless you, Dad. I gained a lot of weight. Let's think about this. A woman, fitness professional, gaining a lot of weight. Boy, did I get that. Oh, you've gained weight. Now, when you're up on that pedestal and then you fall, people are not nice about it.
So Helena, I want to just that's a very good point that maybe we should take a minute to discuss, because there is this perception of how you should look as the mentor and the coach and stuff, but people forget that you're still human and emotions do affect things. Things do happen. Everybody gets a little moment where they all kind of lose it, or they just lose, interest, or something happens in their life where they do have that. And for the longest, we had this perception, you cannot possibly teach people if you have a little bit of gut, or you have this or the other. Like, I still can teach people. I'm not at the optimum, level. I can turn this thing quick. But the thing is that people sometimes judge based on that perception as opposed to being realistic about things. Not everybody's going to look like, in a particular, like, Barbie model or whatever, or Ken, right? I mean, that's kind of like, how we all think about being in the gym, chiseled business, right? That's not the reality of things. I mean, being athletic, you can still be athletic. You train and stuff, and also age, genetics,
Oh yeah, there's all kind of factors.
And again, you lose your father. Ultimately, that's an impact, and
that's going to be, for me, it's a huge impact. I was close to my dad.
No, nothing wrong with that. And actually, I love. I'm a dad, so I have a daughter, so that's a good. It was good to hear. She's close to me. Yeah.
And if anything, I give full credit to my dad, because he was a businessman. He owned restaurants. So guess where I learned all these skills?
Daddy. And he supported you.
Everybody in the area where he had his restaurants loved him, because he was a man of his integrity, honor, and respect. So if you didn't have, say you didn't have $3 or $4 to buy that milk, or you didn't have enough to buy your pizza, he would look at you and say, okay, no problem, come back and pay me. And he would help people that way. So I've learned skills that I don't think too many business people would have nowadays, because everything's about, it's, I'm going to take and profit and this and that. Yes, we do want to make money, and yes, we want to profit. But there has to be an element of integrity when you're doing business with someone, or even when you're running your business. And that I truly, truly believe, and my clients have told me this, that they've come to me because of my integrity.
Well, it's powerful.
That's huge.
It is powerful. And you mentioned something that is more powerful. The fact that we're more into business today, regardless of who we step on and what's the outcome to people. We've lost a little bit of humanity sometimes, but I would not generalize, but in general, there is a sense where people, it's just, it's all about business.
In this industry, oh my God.
Well, I mean, I think in the whole world, I mean, we've become more like, money driven and profitable, business stuff. Again, in the business world, you're in business to make profit. I get it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you have to lose your personal touch. It doesn't have to lose your personality and humanity and integrity.
Exactly.
And there are people that actually do beyond that. They do charitable work. They do stuff. They do take care of people, and they do donate food, if leftover, or sometimes not. I'm not talking about leftover, but, at the end of the day, you can come in and get stuff at discount, and they do stuff with homeless, of the population, shelters. So they do things, but a lot of people, sometimes they tend to like, I don't care who is going to be on my way. I'm just going to move everybody, squash everybody, because I want to be making the millions.
That's not part of what I do. Like I know that now being plugged in spiritually, what you put out
Comes back.
It comes back.
Karma, good or bad,
Oh
that's on
yeah,
you.
slap, 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 right? So
Ouch.
you got to be careful who you step on.
Justice is
I
eternal.
strongly believe in that. I have strong faith. So I'm always willing to help people out. I'm always willing to hear it, listen to it, and gauge what needs to be done. But the moment you go, okay, well, oh, I think I'll have my knife in my hand and go boom, boom. Well, hey, good luck, because the universe doesn't like that.
And for
And in
anyone,
our industry, there's a lot of that.
well,
A lot.
it is, and I would say in almost every industry there's that, and
Yes.
it's just become a culture that business before anything else, right? And business should not be before family and humanity and being righteous and being just, and I mean those things should never be gone from our curriculum, our vocabulary, and our habits and behavior. But unfortunately, you're gonna experience. Yeah, I mean, people, it's reality. But I tend to believe that there's still good people out there, and that humanity still does exist.
Absolutely, I agree.
A discussion like this can actually maybe touch someone that maybe I should consider. And by the way, time goes by fast, and before you know it, everything trickles back. It's planting seeds. You plant the wrong seeds, you're gonna get thorns.
I believe in that. I really do. That's why I think for me, what I've learned, what I was taught by my dad, has had a great impact on me. So, and plus, I think about the type of business, what I do. It's all about your client. I have had people come to me. I built my business on word of mouth, not on advertising and social media. In British Columbia, it was always on word of mouth. In Ottawa, word of mouth. But my point is that when someone has come to me and said to me, I hear that you're a great trainer, and how much do you charge? And I would tell people how much I charge. Oh, I can't afford that. So let's take that comment. And what I would do with that is say to the potential client, okay, you know what? I'll give you a month complimentary. This is what I'd like you to do for me. If you like my service, talk about it.
That's actually powerful advertising right there.
Right?
I mean, you can't go wrong with that one. I mean,
this is why I said it's not always about money. Sometimes if you just 1 month, hey, 1 month can do wonders for someone that really needs it.
Yeah, I mean, circumstances change for everyone, and you're right. Listen, it's tough, especially
you're like, oh my gosh, Helena.
No, but personal training is a different game, and it's beyond.
Gosh, yeah.
And especially your formula. This is not just where I talk to you and you just do the work. I mean, you have a lot of stuff, and you provide the system and the nutrition, the whole program. I mean, you have franchises that are doing that, right? And but you're doing it into a very unique concept. It is more boutique style. It's more like selected, and I'm sure it may be costly, but there are people that are willing to pay to get that kind of attention and
totally.
Dedicated personal training. And again, there's something for everyone, right?
I believe in that. I've been approached. I've written for magazines. I've been in the papers. And I remember one magazine I used to be a columnist for. The editor would call me sometimes in distress. He'd say to me, I don't know what to do this. And I'd say to him, you know what? First of all, take a breath, breathe. There's a solution to everything.
Amen to that, because people sometimes don't believe in that. There's always a way out.
There's always a way to create or recreate or implement. And, our minds are powerful. It just depends on how we're using it. You get all flustered. I honestly would sit here and think in 2020, okay, no, I gotta stay positive. There's my husband motivates me. He's 100% behind my business. But there's days when you go, oh my gosh, wow, this is happening, and then I click out of it and go, no, stay positive. Come on, push yourself. Let's go. This is what we need to accomplish, even more so today than ever. The health and wellness industry has to really go out there and help people go through this vortex. I've called it a vortex because that's exactly what we've gone through. Going through this tunnel of, and this is reality now, people have lost, whether they've lost family, a home, a job, kids are starving. It is more important now, more than ever, for our industry to keep it strong and motivate people to get back into the gym. Do whatever we can to inform people and keep them motivated.
It's powerful. But so now I want to talk about your banner.
Sure.
And then
Let's talk about velocity.
Exactly. And we want to, you are Velocity. This is your baby and your concept. And I think we've really shared a lot of valuable insights and things that people sometimes consider, may not consider, and just learning about the process and how it all changed over the years. So I think that's because we don't get the opportunity to talk to someone who's been doing this as long as you have and seen it through different, levels, because really many people don't even know that the gyms and the concepts existed the way they did back then, because they only know what's today. Like my kids would not know, they just know what it looks like today, right? And so it changes dynamics. But so for audiences worldwide, I mean, and by the way, in parts of the world, things are still different. So you never know where you are in the world where you can see value and insights about something such as the discussion we're having today. But I love what you have there. Get up, move, unleash your inner athlete, and be it, live it. That's a mouthful of all good stuff. I mean, first of all, get up. I mean, don't be lazy. Let's get it done. Take a move. And it's movement. So what prompted you to have this line? I mean, I know it's got a mission. I mean, just seeing a cheetah run in there with velocity. Yeah. I mean, by the way, that's genius because it's one of the fastest animals on the planet. And those things can launch at 50 miles an hour. So they're really fast. So I like that, the velocity that they can be here and the next thing they're on the other side, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But I like that. Unleash your inner athlete. I think that is powerful because I think we all have that, but do we really bring that inner athlete out?
That's right.
Most of us probably don't, but it's dormant. It's there. But you are helping people to get that out of them.
Oh yeah.
And that's a unique thing because I think your model is more about that. You work with someone and then you get them into that athletic, personality that they have that they may not even have known that they had, because
that's right.
Maybe when they were in school and whatever, they were not taking athletics, and that was not part of the stuff. Although some schools it's almost standard, but but we all did some of it, but we didn't really do anything with it.
Right.
You moved on from it. But I think it's there, and it just and that's the other thing, that the age doesn't matter because people can do it. I mean, you're running now, you said it yourself, you're going to be running different things and you're registering. And that's the other, that's a great motivation. Some people say, I give up. I can't do this anymore. I'm too old. My knees hurt, this, that. It only hurts because we're not doing anything.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, as you're sitting and you're not moving and you're not unleashing that inner, athlete of yours. And I love it. Be it, live it. I mean, it's really, you got to absorb this whole thing. It has to be you. And it takes somebody to actually, not everybody can do that alone. I mean, I think they need that support, and you bring that support. So I love that actually about your concept. And I think that is what everybody's striving to do. I think, in any type of gym or any type of fitness mode, but having, because when you work like with a personal trainer, typically it is limited to what they do. Not everybody has that. I mean, they'll tell you what to do. Sometimes they'll watch you do, and that's it. I actually just had another show about personal training. It was a different angle, but I loved also in that show what we discussed, because it was just unique in its own. And that's the thing. There's a variety of how people approach, the personal training and the fitness and the wellness part. And then you throw in all the stuff. But I think, motivation is at the key element at the base of all of it. Because if you're not motivated, you don't believe, you have no will and no willingness to do anything, no will to actually make moves or do anything. I mean, then you're gonna complain.
You don't get up.
Yeah, that's the first step. You got to get out. You got to, like people. You got to get into your car and go to the gym. Some people have a gym in their home and they still don't do it, right? So, hello, get up from your couch, do your stuff,
Exactly.
walk. But it starts with one, action, and then move, right? And then the rest is history. And I love that at the end, like be it, and then make it your life, live it, enjoy it.
It's very simple, Hurricane. It's very simple. It's not difficult. And I'll tell you why I say this, because it was done already. I was part of that. I watched it and it was simple. People just got up, my classes would have 50 women. It would be packed. And I was on this little stage with this microphone stand.
Come on, move it. Right, left.
And I'll let you know, I was a shy person. My first class, I stood there and these women, and this is why I'm saying this is so different now. The mindset, when I stood on that stage and I looked at these women, some of them had their hands on their hips and looking at me like, you better start moving me soon.
Let's get it done, right?
Right?
Well, again, but I think we all had that.
All
first
that you see behind me comes from that.
Love it, but you can't make that up. I mean, that's the real stuff, and
it's the real stuff.
It's demonstrated stuff.
Well, it's been proven. Our generation proved it. You get up, you move, and you unleash your inner athlete. Be it, live it. That's what it was. So in my mind, let's reignite that. Now we sort of have to mold it with what's going on, but it's still there. We can still, if you are a trainer, every trainer, every coach is a motivator. Now, the athletic part of it, velocity, the whole mindset from that, I went into reflection mode. I thought, okay, so I was an athlete. I ran fast. Coach loved me. Coach wanted to take me to the Olympics. I was fast. What's fast? And I know animals have a thing, especially when you use it in business. I said to my friend when she was designing the logo, I said, the cheetah has to be in the logo. And she's looking at me, why the cheetah? I said, because I'm the cheetah.
Hey, listen.
She's like looking at me. Okay. I said, and the whole body of the cheetah has to be in the logo. And velocity has to be mingled in with the cheetah because the cheetah is a fast cat. And so she went away, did her thing, came back. There were a number of designs she made. And I would look at it and say, no, it's not doing anything for me yet. No. And then she says, okay, there's one word you can use for this logo. What would it be? I said, sexy.
Well, I have to say it has a little bit of a flash also in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, you really picked it up. I mean, it looks like one of those thunderbolts, and it's fast and it's slightly fast, yeah. And it's got a signature that's yours.
Yeah, and so she said sexy. I said sexy. She brought back this, and I said, bingo, that's it. That's what it did for me. I just went, yes.
Well, listen.
And so, when we're planning the business, this is what I imagined myself. I visualized myself. There's everybody in the fitness industry, and there's Helena with her own sign standing there.
Why is that though? I mean, it's you're just as competitive with the rest, and you know what? You have your own. I guarantee you're gonna have your own. I mean, now that you're restarting in the States, you're gonna have your own flavor. You're gonna have your own group of folks that actually would enjoy the workout, and it's gonna be different. And that's the beauty about it, right? You know, people choose what's good for them, and there is like I guarantee you, more people hear about this, the more they're gonna hear about your story. They're gonna see, and they're gonna know your history as well. You know, they're gonna see that, and you're gonna find your own group of people, your own audience. And that's the thing. Like, not everybody's listening or watching my radio. I mean, this radio's dime a dozen.
It's okay.
Yeah, but you know,
I love your show. I love the premise of it.
No, but again, that's the thing. Like, I believe in it, but I know that there is a group of people that will enjoy it. Maybe someone decides to watch something totally different, and that's okay. But there's always that, and that's the thing. I'm always in sales, and I always tell to people that there is a product for everyone, and there is someone for every product.
That's right. That's right.
So it's okay. You know, if it's not yours, that's okay. There's some people, and there's different levels of energy and what people are seeking. People may want just to be that. The motivation is the key, as you said, and you are a great motivation without even doing anything. Just talking to you, I'm getting excited about this. I want to get up and do some athletics right now. I want to run. I want to be doing stuff.
Everybody, you know, when we say that it's a competitive industry, one thing I've never done, if I can't help someone, I am honest about it. I will say, you know what? Maybe we're not a good fit, but I do know someone. I will always refer them to another trainer. You know, this is how I operate. I'm not like, sorry, I can't help you or make them believe that I am the right fit for them. I'm very transparent. There's no
integrity, right?
Pardon?
You said integrity, you know, ethics.
Absolutely.
It's all about that and doing the right thing, because those can be good referrals eventually, because they're going to know, like, hey, you can go to Helena because she's great. But if you want this is the other area.
Absolutely.
And you help them anyways. That's helping.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, we cannot, I don't make it about me. Right. I make it about the client, the customer. So if the client, you know, when I'm doing the consultation and things are coming out, I go, okay, I think maybe best that you go to so-and-so. And people are open to that and they appreciate that. Right. I think there's too much of this eagerness to just get the dollar. If I can't help someone, I'm not going to take their money. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Now, call me crazy. Call me, oh my gosh, you're not focusing on profit. I'd rather have happy clients as opposed to unhappy clients. And I'd rather be transparent and say, hey, I know a great trainer I can refer you to. They're fantastic. They're in alignment with what I do. They've got integrity, and that would be a better fit for you. People like that.
Well, you know, what you're actually describing there is the true art of sales without selling. You don't sell anything to anyone. If you do the right thing, you bring the right value to people, they appreciate it.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, some people, they just want that quick, you know, deal, not the long-term relationship. They don't see the ramifications of doing that. They want that quick, you know, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to make some dollars now, but it's not a long-term, investment. You want someone that's going to be with you and stay with you. And also, it's also about your name brand, your reputation. All it takes is that person leaving you and say, like, don't ever go there. And then talking about word of mouth, this word of mouth can go both ways, right? It can be against you. Not a good fit there. So that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Just to mention, I won't mention the chain or anything, but I used to teach at one of the largest chains in BC. I mean, these gyms were constantly packed. My classes were constantly packed, and the belief behind that is, if the participants are packing to Helena, let's get her into sales as well. Well, I didn't like their sales process, and I stepped back. I said, no, there has to be an element of my morals in there somewhere. And if it doesn't jive with me, I'm not going to do that to someone. Your customer base in this type of industry, it takes one person. That's all it takes in a business. One unhappy customer to run around and talk. And not just your customers. You have employees, you better treat them right.
Well, they're also customers.
They are your representation.
Exactly. They
will go out there and
easily.
For me, at the Pacific Inn, I had a great team of 5 people. And when it was time for me to leave, because I got an opportunity at the Bank of Canada, guess what that staff base did? They left too.
Wow.
I didn't tell them to leave. I said, I've got an opportunity in Ottawa. I'm going to go to Ottawa, and it's 8 years. I've had a great run here. And they're like, we're leaving too. I'm like, you don't have to leave. You can stay. No. There's never been a manager like you in this place.
Well, they were loyal to you. And by the way, it is in the business world. People don't leave jobs, they leave bad managers, or they leave with good managers.
Our industry is it's a special industry that has had its rap. And when I say that, I'm saying that from what we've been discussing, your clients, your staff, so for me, because I've had so many years of opportunities and just analyzing the industry, the business aspect of it, I've kept it alive within myself. I've fine-tuned it.
And you're still doing that.
And I'm still doing it.
Well, so let's talk about that. I mean, we're almost on the hour mark, but I know you're resetting yourself into the company now in the States, on this side of the world. Well, it's actually the other side where I stand. but you're in Washington area, right?
Yeah.
So there's plenty of opportunity there, and I think you are bringing a whole different concept with you as the center of it. And your flavor, your version of things, your signature is there, your motivation is there. I know post-pandemic things gone crazy, but I think everybody's getting back to some level of normalcy, and I think it's getting there. You will definitely find the right audience, and you're gonna get thriving again, because what you're bringing is the value, and I think that's important. People are looking for that. To your point, people are losing that trust in some other places, and they're looking for like someone that they can relate to, that can relate to them, they can work with, and can get the result as well. And I think you've also adapted with the times in terms of like the nutrition, the things that you need to have, because I think most of the people focus on like the just the exercise part of the fitness and the wellness, but
Mhm.
I mean, at least that was the concept. And they still go out and eat whatever they want and party all they want and drink all they want, and that doesn't, and they don't sleep. I mean, there's a whole different thing that actually makes you healthier and good, well, being
Right.
kind of concept. But it doesn't work just by doing one form. You have to have it all. It's a whole 360 concept.
That's right.
But I think you've already established that now, and you have that. So what are the next steps, and how can we have people kind of drive to you? Because I think you're restarting now, and
Yeah.
you're bringing this into the area. Where are you going to be doing the new classes?
So I'm in Blaine, Washington.
Okay.
Um, and we're just at the border. I mean, I can look out at British Columbia.
You just went over the page.
Now, my husband has a great job here, and so my son is still in BC. So it's like I'm not going to move anywhere else because my son's still there, and my husband's like, and I got this job. So we're kind of rooted here. So the outlying areas like Ferndale, Linden, I will go as far as Seattle. Um, the good thing about now for me, and I'm so happy I've received this recognition. I am certified now through the WBENC, which is the highest, I would say, gold certification to receive as woman-owned business. So that is going to open up many opportunities. And a lot of corporations will now, when we talk about the changes, large corporations, unless you have that certification, they won't even look at you. So for me, I'm very grateful for that. I'm honored. I was jumping for joy when I received my approval via email. So I'm working on various projects, and in hopes that as we continue to evolve through this vortex, that things will start to happen. Eventually, my long-term goal with Velocity Athletic Training is I would love to give other people this opportunity to, have this type of business. Sorry.
Okay.
So I think at some point, once the trademark goes through, I will, and plus I'm an educator with the Canadian Fitness Education Services. So I certify instructors, trainers, set up a nice package opportunity for people to start their own
Franchising?
business as well. For sure.
You
Absolutely.
mean
I think,
franchising?
yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be looking at that down the road. I think it would be a good opportunity for people. They're going to learn a lot about how to stay in business, right?
Well, I
I
mean
know. Yeah.
that's huge. I mean, franchising. I mean, you already have a model now that you're gonna reestablish in the States, and I mean, you already have it as a cookie cutter thing, right? You're just gonna start now, but it's just a matter of getting through the law of the land, as they say, and getting all the landscape and going through the processes. Because I know it's a shift. I mean, it's just how it is. Now, do you do any work remotely?
Yes.
So you do also, like, just giving advice and training and coaching people and giving them exercise and nutrition.
Yes. I don't do any online personal training. I don't agree with, sorry.
That's
I
okay.
shouldn't say that.
It's your prerogative. It's your formula.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
factors to consider, right? When you're doing personal training or even doing classes. I don't do classes online. And I just think the reason why I'm like that is because I come from that era. It's face to face,
Hands on, right there.
right?
I see
Hands
you.
on. The client is in front of me. I'm correcting them. I'm showing them. When you're on the computer, like, what are you going to do if your client falls on the other side? Like, so to me, that's just where I'm at with it. That's my belief system. So when the time comes, yeah, I'll have a boutique style studio. That's what I had in BC. Very small, got great equipment, and it's all functional training. Again, that comes from teaching aerobic classes, knowing that the body has the ability to change without all this equipment. It just depends on what the goals are, right? So that's where I'm going to go in the future with it.
All right. Well, again, I wish you all the success, and whatever we can do to support and just promote your brand and your formula will help with that. One thing, I know we're coming to the end of the show. What kind of advice would you give people right now in terms of health, fitness, and wellness?
Well, the most important thing, this is what I teach my clients, is number one, believe in your health and wellness. That's your base. It's the base to everything. It's the base to your breath, to being successful in your business, having the energy, the positive attitude. I know it's hard because we've gone through this thing. I call it a thing. I never call it anything else. It's
a bleep. It's a bleep in time in the timeline.
Yeah, we've gone through. Well, I've called it the vortex. That's what I've dubbed it. So, stay positive. It's so important. Find something that will kick you into the positive mode. If it's a simple walk, do it. Get away from the computer, from the desk. I'm writing a book now. It's called the syndrome, desk potato syndrome. We've evolved. We've gone from the couch. You remember?
Couch potato. Yes.
Everybody was caught
TV and
talking
remote.
about. Now it's the desk potato syndrome. So I'm coming out with that book. It's I've copyrighted it through the US copyright, and I'm starting to write that. I'm also starting to write the book From Fit to Fat to Master Athlete. That's my journey in the industry. So, hey, if I can do it, I'm 58. If I can do this, you can as well. You can do it.
Wow.
Give me 20 jumping jacks.
All right. Here we go. You sound like a drill sergeant right now. Drop 20. I love it. But
thank
that's
you
the
so much.
That's the spirit. Well, I thank you. I mean, this was it was a fun show. I think we've covered a lot of grounds, from business, from career path, from personal choices and preferences, to advice, and I think, you do have a formula that is of success, and you've done it. And listen, I personally want you to succeed, and just by the way, I love the themes of the books, and do come back when the books are out so we can talk about them.
For sure. I've written an ebook. It's on Amazon. It's called What's Your Type? Understanding your body and your personality. So it's all about, the mesomorph, the endomorph, and it describes, it has the body descriptions and the personalities attached to each. And that comes from just training my clients, just knowing where they're at in terms of their personality and their body type. And that is so important to understand. It is on Amazon. I will send you a free copy to look at.
Well, thank you. And I will put the link to it in the description of the show so people can have access to it. But again, as you develop the other books and publish them, it'd be nice to maybe have a refresh discussion about those books and the content. And, by that time we'll talk about where you are, and hopefully, at that point, like, the boutique is ready, and the action is there, and the clients are happy, and we can even, maybe you can
knock on wood.
Well, hey, listen, remember, you got to get up and do it, and you're doing it. So that's all that matters.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much, Helena.
Thank you,
It
Hurricane.
was a great, discussion. And folks, I hope
Awesome.
that you've enjoyed our show here. And
I have. Absolutely. Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
You're a pleasure to talk with.
Listen, I try.
Yalla.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Just as you're listening and watching our audiences, thank you so much for being with us today and really just joining the discussion, and hope that you've picked up some stuff, and you can learn some things, here, as well as, if you're in the area, in the Washington area, do reach out to
Yes,
Helena and her
please do.
website. So the website will be also in the description. And check out her program, the whole concept. And if it is a fit for you, please do so and reach out to her.
Absolutely.
And
I do offer outdoor training. So, don't have the boutique style studio yet, but we will use the biggest gym in the world, and that's outdoors.
You're in the athletic world, right? I mean, athletics are not. I mean, yeah, they can be done indoors, but
totally.
It started being outdoors.
That's right.
All right. Well, listen. Thank you so much. You have a great one, and folks, thank you
you
so much for being with us. We'll be talking soon. New day, new show, new topic. I'm Hurricane H. Bye for now.
Bye bye.